And you may be aware of looseness and construction with the falling. So you become aware of the air elements in terms of its characteristics. And during the practice, all the bodily activities like inclining, bending, leaning, moving, walking, going, etc., convey the same meaning. Movement, that is a function of the air elements. Air moves from one place to another when it is strong, and at other times it remains still and tense. This is a function of the air elements. And when you know the rising and falling, you are quite aware of the gradual motion outward during the rising movement and inward during the falling. And the air element push or pulls in any direction it wants, bending or stretching, for example, is generated by your mind born air elements. Chitacha Vayo Dhatu. So any direction it wants means direction determined by your mind. In case of voluntary actions, such as bending the hand or stretching the hand out, the direction depends on your inclination. In bending and stretching, there is the inward and outward proportion. In the walking, you feel being pushed forward. This kind of feeling is apparent also in the rising and falling. So pulling or pushing is the manifestation of the air elements. The manifestation of something is its certain impression that occurs to your mind when you pay attention to it. So when yogi knows the rising and falling of the abdomen, you will discern the air elements in terms of its characteristics or function or manifestation. So there are many rupa dhatu, material elements. You can discover many things during your careful noting. Another phenomena that would be obvious while practicing is unpleasant sensation like heat, cramp, pain, and so on. Regarding what to do with it, Buddha says, Dukkha Vedana Vidyamano, Dukkha Vidyam, Dukkha Vedana Vidyamiti, Pajanati. A bhikkhu experiencing unpleasant feeling is well aware, I experience unpleasant feeling. How to note the feeling? Buddha instructed yogis to be aware of feeling by noting it Vidayami. I experience. Like when you go, you have to note going, Kichantowa Kichamiti Pajanati. I go. Vidayami is the verb, the first person singular, and its grammatical construction implies I as the subject. So the sentence of the Buddha has to be translated as I experience. Some people not satisfied with this translation. If they do not accept this translation, it would be the accusation of the Buddha teaching. The correct translation is I experience. So what is to discern in the unpleasant feeling is its characteristic, function, or manifestation. People rarely say I experience heat. Instead, they would say it is hot. So we have to tell yogi to make a mental note of their sensation accordingly, like hot, hot, cold, cold, pain, pain, and so on. If they follow the instruction, they will become aware of the feeling as feeling instead of as I or my feeling or mine. This fact is very evident. Dukkha Vedana is the experience of undesirable contact. When you know stiff, stiff, or hot, hot, for example, you can be clearly aware of the unpleasant experience. No doubt you are aware of feeling in terms of its characteristics. In this regard, you need to understand unpleasant experience is its characteristic. And the function is to make its concomitance wither. So the function of the unpleasant feeling, dukkha vedana, is to make its concomitance wither. Concomitance here refers consciousness and mental factors that are associated with it. For your easy understanding, you just know it makes my mind weak and wither. It needs no elaboration because it is very evident when we are sick. When we are well, both our mind and body are energetic and active. But when our body gets sick, our mind gets weak and withers. In the same way, when the body feels stiff, hot, or ache, our mind becomes weak also. The unpleasant sensation evidently makes our mind wither, so it is a function of the unpleasant feeling known to a yogi. As you know, the function is making the mind weak and wither. And the manifestations of unpleasant feeling. It is Kaika Bada Bijupatana, that means physical discomfort. It is manifestation. Discomfort is difficult to bear, like a thorn prickling in the flesh. So the unpleasant feeling is manifested to a yogi as discomfort. A yogi becomes aware of unpleasant feeling in terms of his characteristic, function, and manifestation. In the same way, yogi can be aware with pleasant and neutral feelings. These three features of unpleasant feeling are not what to memorize, not what to recite, but just to be aware of by observing presently arising object. To be aware by observing them concurrently. Only just this. You can capture everything. So sometimes you may be aware of his characteristics, and other times you may be aware of his function or manifestation, depending on what obvious to you. So regarding the three features of unpleasant feeling, so you have the paper, page number 3, the characteristic, function, and manifestations of unpleasant feeling, dukkha vedana. Its characteristics is to experience many unpleasant feelings. Unpleasant experience. And the function is to exhaust your mind and cause it to wither. It make your mind weak and wither. This is a function. It manifests as torment in the mind and it is difficult to bear. Yes, really discomfort in the body is the manifestation. So you can be aware, you can capture these features when you experience unpleasant feeling, and if you pay attention thoroughly, you can see, you can capture the Namarupa correctly. So translation is, it is experienced as unpleasant and pain, unpleasantness and pain. It causes your mind's strength to weaken and wane, and it is tormenting in your body and difficult to bear. So dukkha vedana yogi can be aware by noting diligently. So we go to another phenomena. The next phenomena that yogis are most likely to be aware of while noting is consciousness. Consciousness, whose characteristic is to be conscious of a sense object, consciousness aramana vijanana lakkhana. To be conscious of a sense object is characteristic of Chaita, consciousness. So you try to be aware of every arising consciousness. When you know thoughts that arise in you, a yogi will find thoughts arise moment by moment, picking up one object after another constantly, like a bird picking up one grain after another. So when you note seeing, for example, you can find the seeing consciousness or eye consciousness as if it were picking up the visible object. In the same way, you will find the hearing consciousness or ear consciousness picking up the sound, and nose consciousness picking up the odor, and tongue consciousness picking up the taste, and the body consciousness picking up the tangible object, and the mind consciousness any object known to the mind. So the characteristics of consciousness is to be conscious of its corresponding object. No matter whether you are highly educated or illiterate, young or old, you will be aware of the nature of mind when you are mindful of your thoughts concurrently. Some practitioner, although less educated, can report their discernment of the nature of mind more comprehensively than the educated people. Some of them are very young, but when they practice diligently, they can understand the nature of mind. And the functions of consciousness is to lead its concomitant, as if it were urging, "Hey, my friends, come, please follow me," as if it is urging. So consciousness is to lead its concomitant. Leading its concomitant like a forerunner is the functions of consciousness. When people walk together, there is someone who leads everybody else. In the same way, the consciousness, Chaita, plays a leading role among all its concomitant mental factors, such as lobha, dosa, greed, hatred, moha, etc. In an unwholesome case, or consciousness plays a leading role among in a wholesome case, sattva, confidence, sati, mindfulness, and so on. So the functions of consciousness is very clear. And the manifestations of consciousness. So it is manifested as a mental chain. The consciousness is manifested as a chain of preceding and succeeding mental state. When Vipassana yogi knows one kind of consciousness, he would find it disappear and be succeeded immediately by another kind of mind. Then yogi would realize the consciousness is a mental chain that keeps going on in connection with its preceding mental state. So when yogi note one thought moment, he finds it disappear, but another thought moment replaces it immediately. So yogi understand the chain of preceding and succeeding thoughts is manifestation. So you have a paper, page number 4. The characteristic functions and manifestation of citta. The characteristic is to know the object, and the function is to be in the front like a leader. Mind leads all mental states, and it manifests as preceding and succeeding units of consciousness linked one after another. One mind, one consciousness you note disappear, another one replace, you note disappear. So it is mental change, like mental change. So yogi is always aware of the nature of mind when they observe consciousness diligently. So yogi becomes to understand the characteristics, functions, and manifestations of three kinds of phenomena: Vayo dhatu, air elements, and feeling, dukkha vedana, and consciousness citta, which are most likely to be obvious. So there are many remaining psychophysical phenomena. What we have to start? We have to start other mental factors. So when we practice meditation, we try to observe Upadana, the 5 aggregates subject to clinging as impermanent, suffering, and non-self. You are observing the 5 aggregates, Rupakhandha, meta aggregates, Vedana feeling aggregates, Saṅkhārakkhandha, perception aggregates, Saṅkhārakkhandha, volitional formation aggregates, Vijnana consciousness aggregates. So you need to remember 5 aggregates you are observing. Can you follow me? Rupakhandha, Vedana Saṅkhārakkhandha, Saṅkhārakkhandha, Vijnana meta aggregates, feeling aggregates, perception aggregates, volitional formation aggregates, consciousness aggregates. So now you are observing the 5 aggregates of clinging. If you do not practice, if you do not practice diligently, you may cling to these aggregates, Rupa Khanda, the matter aggregate, Vedana Khanda, feeling aggregates, Sanya Khanda, perception aggregates, Saṅkhārakkhandha, volitional formation aggregates, and Vijnana Khanda, consciousness aggregates. So according to Abhidhamma, there are 52 mental states. Feeling is one mental factors, one aggregates. Perception sinya is another mental factors, another aggregates. And the remaining 50 mental states are collectively called volitional formation aggregates, Saṅkhārakkhandha. Because this group is headed by a mental factors called volition or cetana in Pali. So among the Saṅkhārakkhandha 50, first we need to go Phassa. You may see 52 mental factors, and the first one is Phassa, contact. So during the practice of meditation, if the yogi is very sharp, and they can capture the kinds of Phassa. So what means Phassa? Phassa means contact. Contact here does not mean physical contact. It is mental contact. When some object comes into the avenue of the senses, the eyes, the ears, or whatever, there is the awareness of the object. Then there is the vivid experience of that object. That is what is called phassa, contact. So it is the impingement of the object on the mind. So phassa means touching. Although the word touch is used, the touch is not physical, but mental. Although you do not touch physically, you are always touched by something. You see something there and you are happy, or you are afraid, or you are sad. Phassa is like that. So phassa or contact is evident when you see someone eating sour fruit. You have saliva in your mouth when you see someone eating sour. So that is caused by phassa. So you may go on to the circus. When they are walking on the rope, you have some fluttering in your heart, in your chest, that is caused by phassa. Sometimes when you are very afraid, you are paralyzed, you cannot do anything, you are like a cripple, that is caused by phassa. When people go to the forest with the dog at night, it is very frightening. It is in the forest, and at night the leopards would come down there, and when the dogs got the smell of the leopard, they did not move at all. So they were very easy prey for the leopards to pick up. What is this? That is phassa. They were paralyzed. Although there is no physical touch, there is mental contact. Some people are afraid of ghosts. So he may see something in the dark and he think it is a ghost. Then he may tremble. All these are the manifestation of phassa or contact. Whenever an object comes into the avenue of the senses, there is always phassa or contact. So when we practice meditation, when we meditate on these mental states, the commentaries give us 4 aspects of each cetasika. Out of the 4 aspects, there can be seen during meditation. If yogi have good concentration and you watch them, and you will come to see these aspects. It is good to understand these 4. You already know characteristics, function, manifestation, and proximate cause. It is good if yogi can understand these 4 aspects of each mental properties. The commentaries always give these 4 defining devices or 4 aspects of each mental state. The first one is called Lakkhana or mark. By this mark, yogi know that it is phassa. By this mark, yogi know it is vedana, feeling, and so on. That mark is called Lakkhana in Pali. It is the main quality of the phenomena. It is the individual characteristics or individual essence. Then there is what is called rasa in Pali. Rasa directly translated means taste. Taste of a mental state. Rasa is said to be two kinds actually. One is function, kriya. The other is achievement of the goal, some kinds of result. So there are 2 kinds of rasa, function and achievement. Achievement. In Pali, it is called sampatti. Another one is manifestation. Here also there are 2. Pichupatthana means manifestation to the minds of the yogi. When yogi contemplates on phassa or watch phassa, you will see how phassa appears in your mind, how phassa manifests to your mind. That manifestation is called Pichupatthana. And number 4 is proximate cause, Bhattattana. that what is the near cause of phassa and so on. So contact has the characteristics of touching. Its function is impingement, as it causes consciousness and the object to impinge, to come together or touch together. Its manifestation is the concurrence of consciousness, sense faculty, and object. So it manifests itself to your mind as the coming together of the three. So during the practice of meditation, you can know Chaku Sampasa, eye contact, Sota Sampasa, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact, 6 kinds of contact. And it manifests itself to your mind as the coming together of the three. So let's say you see something, and it is, there comes seeing consciousness, there is the eyes, there is the visible object, and when the visible object comes into the avenue of your eyes, there comes seeing consciousness. So when these three arise, phassa also arises. So phassa is something like the concurrence, the coming together of the three: eye sensitivity, visible object, and seeing consciousness. Now you understand why phassa arises. Sala yadana Pichaya Phaso. Phassa arises depending on the 6 sense bases. And the proximate cause is an objective field that has come into focus. That means an object that comes into the focus of the sense faculty, sometimes which comes into the avenue of your eyes, which comes in front of your eyes. If the object does not come into the avenue of your eye, you do not see. Now someone or something at your back, that something do not come into the avenue of your eye, so you do not see them. So you have no seeing consciousness. So phassa has touching or contact at its characteristics. Its function is impingement, and manifestation is the concurrence of the three, and the proximate cause is the object. So in the Chachaka Sutta of Uparipanasa Pali text, Buddha said, yogis should know the 6 classes of 6 kinds. 6 by 6, you need to know what are the 6 by 6. 6 internal bases: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And 6 external bases: sight, sound, taste, etc. And 6 kinds of consciousness: seeing consciousness, hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, tasting consciousness, touching consciousness, and mind consciousness. And 6 phasa: eye contact, ear contact, etc. Yogi should know. So when you note seeing, or hearing, yogi have to note thoroughly and clearly. That means you know one of these is 6 and 6. So that sutta, can you follow me? You need to follow. Yogi should know 6 classes of 6 kinds. Yogi should know 6 classes of 6 kinds. Yogi should know 6 internal bases. Yogi should know 6 external bases. Yogi should know 6 consciousness. Yogi should know 6 contacts. Yogi should know 6 kinds of feeling. Yogi should know 6 kinds of desire. So 6 by 6 is 36. You should know. When you know seeing, how do you know? What you know you capture the eye sensitivity appear from this seeing come from the retina, that is eye sensitivity. You just know it. What is seeing? Seeing come from the eyes. What is seeing? Seeing is because of the visible object. What is seeing? Seeing means seeing consciousness or eye consciousness. What is seeing? Seeing is that eye contact. What is seeing? There is the feeling in that is seeing. If mindfulness is not complete and desire for the visible object, because the object is beautiful, so you like it, and desire for the sight, so that should be also noted. So in the Uparipanasapali Chachaka Sutta, Buddha mentioned that yogi should know 6 classes of 6 kinds, 6 internal bases, 6 external bases, 6 consciousness, 6 contact, or 6 kinds of feeling, and 6 kinds of desire. So yogi should know means, according to the commentary, yogi should know by means of vipassana. By practicing vipassana, yogi know. If you do not practice, you don't know. So whatever anything is seen, whatever anything is heard, etc., yogi should mindfully observe. If the observation not complete and a desire or anger arises, you should know, you should note again. But if the practice is good, and now you are hearing, you note hearing. And what is hearing? Hearing comes from my ears, eardrums vibrating, and then that is hearing. Eardrums is not good and you don't hear. Eardrums is vibrating well and you hear thoroughly. What is hearing? Hearing is sound striking the eardrums. And when what is hearing? Hearing is hearing consciousness. And there is ear contact, and the feeling comes from born of hearing, ear contact. And if the sound is beautiful, there comes desire for this sound. You should know again. But if the yogi practice is good and hearing, and you can capture one of the six and six, the momentary appearance and momentary appearance and disappearing immediately. So you see the natural phenomena of continuous arising and vanishing of the sound. So there is no desire or anger regarding the sound. So this is Phassa. Phassa is from the Saṅkhārakkhandha. When you practice seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and there are many phassa there. And then we go to another feeling. This, tomorrow we continue. Vedana Khanda. Vedana Khanda is another group. Feeling aggregates. Today is just for Phassa. Phassa in the Saṅkhārakkhandha. Aggregates of volitional formation. Volitional formation. So we have to stop our discourse for today by practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by noting, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So